So, got me a project. Old Grizzly 6-inch joiner. We're going to restore it. I'll tell you a little bit about it. Coming right up. Okay, like I need another project, but got a great deal on this. It's an old Grizzly 6-inch joiner. I asked about it. It says, well, it's broke. I says, well, what's the matter with it? Well, it doesn't work. That's all they know. So I guess I drove a little over 100 miles to get this, pick it up, brought it back here. Got to figure out how to get it out from the truck to the ground because I'm by myself and this thing's quite heavy. But I'll get up on here and give you a little bit of a oversight of what this thing looks like. Okay, so here it is. Here's what we have. A little bit of a close-up here. Grizzly, made in Taiwan, of course. Look, well, I think the newer ones are actually made in China. I could be wrong on that. Cord's there, switch is there, of course the motor's there. I looked and made sure of that before I bought this and loaded it up. Got it insanely cheap. The chip ejector chute here, I'd say everything's there. We got a lot of metal mite activity. That's rust if you've never heard that term before. It's not an actual bug, it's just we like to call them metal mites. So everything's there, at least it appears to be. It's not froze up. Knives are horribly dull. I took that lever off when I was transporting it so I wouldn't break it. I'll be putting that back on after I get it off the truck. Got a little bit of banged up stuff here and that, but nothing that we can't get fixed and restored. So I'll get this thing off of there after I figure out how, since I'm by myself. Get this thing off the truck and look into it a little further. Put an ohm meter across that electric cord and find out if we got anything shorted or anything. I don't want to just plug it in to see what happens. Being an electrician experienced, I know better than that. So that's going to be the next steps, getting it off the truck. Okay, with a little help from John Deere, got this thing unloaded. Got to work smart. I used the loader on the tractor to get it off the truck. Got it sitting here, took covers off, piece of sandpaper here, cleaned up the prongs on the plug. They were pretty nasty. And if you remember, I mentioned I was going to check this out first. Well, it's a good thing I did, and here's why. Set this on ohms. Yeah, this is a cheap meter, but it'll do the same thing as the expensive ones. This one was handy. As you look at the plug from the top down, the one on the left is the neutral. The one on the right will be the hot. Of course, the round one on the bottom is the ground. So I always check across. So the switch is off. And my first check, I don't know if you'll be able to see the display on this. Try to set that up a little bit. So my first check was a check from hot to neutral, and we have nothing there. Then I check from neutral to ground. I should have nothing, and I don't. Then I checked from the hot to the ground. We got 0.5 ohms. That's a dead short. If I would have plugged this in, I would have tripped a breaker, or at the very least tripped a ground fault. And the switch is off, and with the switch off, the hot shouldn't be going anywhere. So either I have a bad cord or something has gone wrong inside that switch, and that's what I'm going to look at next. Okay, so what did I find here? Well, what we actually have is a bad switch, and here it is. I'm going to try to describe what the problem was. If you see here on the side, there is a place where the grounds were connected. It was right there where I was pointing. And on the inside, basically the switch had fallen apart. There's a part here that where the contact is on the hot side, and this component is supposed to slide in and out to make that connection when you push the start and stop, which is this part of it. And there's the stop and there's the start there. When you push on the start, it pushes a little piece in there at the top, and you hit the stop and it retracts it. The inside of this was broken, and with this little spring, wherever it came from, it had got in wedged between the hot connection and the side of the frame of the switch, which is where the ground is. And that's what was causing the short. And so needless to say, I'm going to be replacing this with a switch like I use on my table saws and on my router tables. and we'll be getting rid of this piece of crap. I'll also put it someplace more convenient to use, so where I'll be able to knock it with my knee or something if I need to shut it off, and if there would be some type of emergency. Okay, I've got my MacGyver connection going on here. The wires just wire nutted together, and don't do this. I'm a professional electrician. I know what I'm doing here, but don't be doing this without a start circuit. I'm just doing this as a test. I would never actually run the machine and use it this way. But we're going to find out. Putting an ohmmeter across here now, everything's clear like it should be. So we'll see if this motor works. And it does. And yes, the guard's over here because there's a spring that's come off the bottom, and I don't know where it goes yet. I'm going to have to take that apart and look. But I'm glad to see that the motor runs. I don't have to replace the motor or anything, just do a lot of cleanup. And I've also looked all over this thing to try to find the model number, and I can't find it anywhere. So if you know where it is, please tell me in the comments so I can try. I'd like to say I've been all over this thing. I can't find a model number. You never know, I might need some parts. Okay, so got through phase one of the checkout on this thing. I know that it runs. I don't have to worry about getting a motor for it. I'm definitely going to put a better switch on it. As I mentioned earlier, similar to the ones I have in my table saw and my router tables. It's very easy and quick to shut off. I'm also going to turn it so that it faces the front, so that I'll be able to maybe just hit it with my knee or something if I need to stop it in a hurry. Big safety thing. Another thing I'm definitely going to be doing is making a base for this so I can roll it around, because if you've watched it in my other videos, you've seen I have a very small shop and I need to have everything mobile. With that said, I'm going to end this for today, because if you can't tell, it is miserable hot and humid out here, and I think it's time. Well, it's almost too hot to drink beer, but not quite. So that's exactly what I'm going to go do, and I'll get back onto this when I get a little bit more information about it and get some materials together to put a good switch on it, and the materials I need to get it cleaned up, and who knows, might even paint it.